But I was saying that you were like a library master.
I know, but library out of my experience. It's so much to know about capoeira, so much to learn about capoeira. I'm still learning. I'm still on my way to know a lot more. When I talk to Mestre Jelon Grande, he says still learning. I say, wow, Mestre Jelon Grande is on his 90s, early 90s.
Oh, japonês asked to talk about the Roda in Rio with Messi Camisa. Story about Roda in Rio with Messi Camisa. But that's for later. But that's for later, because now we want to
That's
know
for
about Mestre
later. That's for
Ezequiel.
later. That's for later.
I'm gonna save here with the stories of other people.
Let's do another hour. If you find it to be interest, we can do on Saturday and go to the number 2 or second time.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah,
So we're gonna make a second version next Saturday.
Because 3 hours too much.
Yes, but let's go a little bit more about Mestre Ezequiel, Mestre. Talk to us. How was the classes at Mestre Ezequiel's studio?
Well, I started when I met Mestre Ezequiel. His nickname was Zika. You know, no one, but he really didn't like it. And by that, he had another name, Zika, and another one that I can't remember. But he didn't like this nickname. And finally, you know, his nickname was forgotten all about, just like my nickname. And the people
What's your nickname, man?
You know, if I tell you, or if anyone here who knows, if they reveal, they're dead. They're dead meat. I really don't care. It's I just want to be recognized with that nickname. It was a nickname from Messi Bobo. And people only know. It's funny that my nephew, he wants to learn capoeira, but he only wants to learn capoeira if it was from me. And he's studying jiu-jitsu with somebody else, and he's talking about me, and this guy say, well, I know a Jelon that used to do we used to train in capoeira together. But I know I wonder if it's the same Jelon, because this guy, I know he went to the United States, and his nickname was blah, blah, blah.
Oh!
And my nephew, up to today, he's really, I mean, he's been a bully.
So that's the story of how he knows the nickname.
Doesn't do capoeira anymore. He's a great jiu-jitsu teacher and a great jiu-jitsu fighter. No? And I'm so glad my nephew is learning from one of the best, not just in technique, but in terms of a leader. You know, that's really important. Someone who he can also learn something about life just besides technique and rolling on the match. But anyway, what's your question?
It was about the classes of Mestre Ezequiel. How was the class structure? How was it the everyday? Everybody here, a lot of people here is a student, go to the gym every day. How was the feeling of go there and train every day? And how was the class?
Well, pretty much nowadays, from this millennium, I'll say, especially after MMA, a lot of the capoeiristas, they do several different art forms. And at that time, was no other influence. You know, was just people did karate, people did judo, people did capoeira. And few capoeiristas, they did boxing and they did capoeira. Mestre Ezequiel, he had the same kind of history as me. He came from Capoeira, Angola, the streets. I forgot the name of the guy that he inspired, he learned so much. He said he used to be very informal. When I went to learn, when I became Mestre Ezequiel's student, he was already, he just graduated from Mestre Bimba.
What year was that, Mestre?
1968.
68.
Because Mestre Bimba, if you get into capoeira class today, what's date today? It's the 18th, right? April 18th. and let's say May, June, July was a batizado, was a question, do you know the sequence? Do you know the cintura? Then you be graduate. But a lot of people misunderstood that, mislead, I would say. 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, oh, I'm a graduate from Mestre Bimba. But they forgot they had many other steps, many layers to go.
That was just the first
Many of
one.
them stopped because it was not really their objective. And it's interesting, funny, because a lot of those people, they stopped capoeira in 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. So in the 60s, they stopped capoeira. Maybe they did capoeira for 6 months or maybe for a year. And they went on with their professional, because most of the students, Mestre Bimba, after he moved to Terreiro de Jesus, from Roça do Lobo to Terreiro de Jesus, Mestre Bimba, a lot of these students, because Brazil, Bahia, the first university of medicine was right in Bahia. And many people from the north and also many other part of Brazil used to come to Bahia to study medicine. And the College of Medicine was right across the street, not actually right across the street, a diagonal across the street from Mestre Bimba School. And many people study. I have a close friend of mine. 5 years ago, I found out he was a graduate from Mestre Bimba in 1964. And he showed me the medal. And he told me, I asked him many questions and he answered. And he was graduate, and his nickname was Mula Branca. And many of those guys, after Mestre Bimba died, became famous, become a myth. A lot of them, 30, 40 years later, they came back and right away graduate them as a mestre. Some of them don't be recognized as a mestre, but most of them are. Like one of the greatest capoeiristas, Jair Pinico, Jair Moura. He's a historian. He's incredible. He's an authority to speak about Mestre Bimba, because he started capoeira in the 50s, and he knows a lot about Mestre Bimba. He spent a lot of time with Mestre Bimba. Mestre Acordeon is an authority. Mestre Tapuan, and like others, but not a lot of people, because a lot of people spend 30, 40 years. And nowadays they talk about Mestre Bimba like they're really disciple of Mestre Bimba, like really body with Mestre Bimba for those time. I have a interview on cassette that I will pass it on to digital.
Please.
Camisa Roxa, I'm talking about the one who's no longer with us. And he said, I spent 4 years with Mestre Bimba, but I also learned a lot of capoeira with Traíra. He said, not too many people stay for that long with Mestre Bimba. Like nowadays, students stick with the mestres. But in Angola, they did. In Capoeira Angola, I don't know why that happened in Capoeira Regional. But in
I was going to ask you why.
Angola,
I was going to ask you why you think that is.
I have no idea why. But the Mestre Ezequiel's class was exactly like Mestre Bimba's class. Because I had the honor, the pleasure, because I was just before Mestre Bimba left to Goiânia. I used to be really good friend. Well, we still are in somehow. I don't see them. Shampoo was a great student of Mestre Bimba. The last generation of Mestre Bimba. Shampoo, Alegria, Sariguê, Renato Sariguê. They're young, my age. And they used to teach. Mestre Bimba was not teaching. Mestre Bimba was there, and Mestre Bimba come and play the berimbau, and they used to invite me to come. I can say I'm honored to say I played capoeira with Mestre Bimba, played berimbau.
You what? Sorry.
I played capoeira with Mestre Bimba,
playing berimbau.
But I took the class from Alegria and Shampoo, and Mestre Bimba. After then, the class lasts 45 minutes to 40 to 50 minutes. Class was never long, and class was not even. And when Mestre Bimba was in the 60s, I used to watch class. Class was like 10 people, sometimes 15 people. I go to the roda in Nordeste Amarelinha, né? And the rodas was not that big either, you know. And sometimes I
How many people more or less in the roda?
No, in the roda was more people because all the students, even students who stopped going to Mestre Bimba was still going on Sundays, under the influence of all the students. They go, oh, let's go. And many times I used to go, there was no roda because the student would come, 2 or 3. Ending up Mestre Bimba had a somebody roda because the ladies who sang for him was there. Used to be all the ladies from the Candomblé, because Mestre Bimba's wife was Ialorixá. And the roda used to happen right in the Candomblé house.
Nice.
You know, also was another roda every Sunday. With so many rodas on Sunday, you could choose. Every neighborhood had a different roda.
Nice.
In a roda that no one talks about is a vigílio. That roda was the only one that lasts 50 years. Vigílio is the son of Espinho Remoso, student of Mestre Pastinha. One of the old students of Mestre Pastinha. And Vigílio's roda was incredible, And every mess, but I don't know why I know why, but I don't understand why Mestre Valdemar was the only roda who became really most famous nowadays. Also, is the book that what's his name wrote, my Fred de Abreu.
Fred de Abreu, yeah.
Wrote the book of Barracão. No one called Barracão, but Fred told me it was just the name was a good name for the book.
But nobody by that time called Barracão, right?
No, it was not Barracão, it was a roda. Barracão was not the right term. At that time, it was a candomblé. It's called Carramachão. It's really the house of the candomblé, you know. And Mestre Ezequiel, after seeing Mestre Bimba's class, Mestre Ezequiel was exactly the class of Mestre Bimba, exactly like Mestre Bimba.
So how was the warm-up?
Rough. It was not really actual. Mestre Ezequiel was a sergeant, was a police officer, drill sergeant. But then he took another responsibility. He used to train the soldier, and it was a rough training. He used to carry people on your shoulder. You walk the guns walk, the what they call the dark walk, the city walk. Yeah.
So very military style of exercise. Very much a military style of exercise.
Yes, very much, very rough. I mean, and the class lasts maybe depends how many people there. And after warm up, we do the sequence of the sequence to the cintura. Then you use the roda. The roda was never a pandeiro, was never singing, just one berimbau, and 2 by 2. Buying the game that came from the streets in the academy up to today, Capoeira Angola, still don't let people buy the game. That's very much strong tradition of Capoeira. Mestre Bimba would not buy. You know, even Mestre Bimba, no one buys the game. Was
you never seen anybody buying the game at Mestre Bimba?
No. Not in Mestre Bimba, excuse me, not in Mestre Bimba, not in Capoeira Angola, up to today.
Only in the street.
Mestre João Grande, up to today, Mestre João Grande. If you have 10 people or if you have 200 people, it's still 2 by 2. And at that time was a quadra or a ladainha for every game. Do you imagine? Mestre Bobó is the first one I saw eliminating a ladainha for each game. He used to do a ladainha to open the roda, and that's it. And other games started with, and also in Mestre Bimba, in Capoeira Angola, was a game. After the game, they stopped and restart over again. We don't do that anymore. Imagine as many people practicing capoeira, we say sometimes 20, 50, or 60 people more. Every game we stop and go, stop and go, stop and go.
Mestre, deixa eu falar uma coisa aqui, ó. O Mestre Batata quer me mandar uma pergunta, mas eu não estou usando o telefone.
O Mestre quem?
Tá, mestre, manda a pergunta aqui que eu vou tentar ler. E um oi pro
Quem
mestre
tá mandando
Pinga
uma
Fogo.
pergunta, rapaz?
O mestre Batata quer me mandar uma pergunta, mas ele me ligou pelo telefone. Eu não posso atender o telefone aqui que eu tô falando. Mestre Batata, I cannot answer the phone, so send that question here and I'll try to read it. Hi, Mestre Pinga Fogo, and some other people that join in.
Mestre Pinga Fogo is here?
Uh-huh.
Mestre Pinga Fogo, tudo bem, amigo? Grande abraço.
So, Mestre Batata, send the message in there. Oh, there you go. I can't look at the message, Mestre, because I'm using the phone for the conference. Yeah.
Primo.
All right.
Costinha still here, bonbon.
So you were talking about the class in there, how rough it was.
Yeah, everyone, couple of people saying, Miúda, what's up? Oh, it's Miúda using Girafa's phone. Everyone here is saying that it's freezing. But I don't see, only you freezing time to time. Hey, Luciano, hey, sofrimento.
I'm seeing you pretty well.
What's up, Cipó? Vou falar em russo para você, filho.
All right, let's keep going, man. Let's keep going. So you were talking about the class of Mestre Ezequiel, and I was going to ask you in the future, but you can stay.
Then Mestre Ezequiel used to have, yes, we used to have the warm-up, sequence, cintura, final cintura, then the roda.
Mm-hmm.
And sometime in São Bento Grande, when the game got rough, he would play Banguela, just the way Mestre Bimba used to do, play Banguela. And the roda, you know, the lucky one was, if sometimes it was an uneven number, someone would be the lucky one to play twice. If it was even number, everyone only played 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
The most scary, my memory is about Mestre Ezequiel. One of the Mestre Ezequiel's memory is the day he started warming himself up.
Uh-oh.
I used to get so nervous. And I want to go to the bathroom. He said, no, you go to the bathroom afterwards, because he used to really give us a hard game. You know.
That's how we feel when you warm up, Master.
He would not hurt you, but he gave to us. Yeah. And Diablo Loro was on the student, always trying to face Mestre, trying to play equally, and he was the one who gets the hardest.
Mm-hmm.
Mestre Ezequiel gave him a martello. He trying to come back and give Mestre Ezequiel another martello, and it would never work. And he kept trying and trying.
So he was training with you. Diablo Loro was training you. Mestre Batata, I asked for him before. Mestre Batata is asking here, what was Camisa's nickname? And he said that the only nickname he knew from Camisa was Camisa Roxa. He's talking about Camisa Roxa, Mestre. That question.
Yeah, unless was another one before, but the Camisa Roxa was the first name since I know him, was Camisa Roxa.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, Mestre, then after the class, we only had one shower, very small, but all of us was the Alegria and Shampoo was the student of Mestre Bimba, but they used to come after Mestre Bimba left. They stayed with Mestre Ezequiel, was Durinho, was Diablo Loro, was Fininho. Who else? I can't remember the name of the other guys. Tarará, Coração. They used to, some of Mestre Bimba's students from the last generation stay with Mestre Ezequiel. Because at that time, Mestre Ezequiel was the only one really teaching the class. And we used to do esquenta banho. Esquenta banho is like warming up for the shower, So you don't get cold to face the cold water. That's when you really apply capoeira in street fight. Was non ginga, was really rough. And
no ginga no esquenta banho.
No ginga, nothing. Just when you get hurt. Then they used to do Bomba Meu Boi. What's Bomba Meu Boi? It's based on the Brazilian folklore. Bomba Meu Boi is like 3 against 1 or 2 against 1. And many times that's when I used to get hurt really bad. I couldn't get hurt because I had to work. If I got hurt, I would be fired right away. And but I like it. I like it so much, you know. And most of the guys, especially Gria Shambu, was more experienced in Capoeira Regional than I was, and was just like using cap. That's why a lot of Mestre Bimba's students.
How hardcore was it, Mestre?
Become a really good capoeirista, good fighters, because was because the esquenta-banho. What's your question? I'm sorry.
How hard was this esquenta-banho? How hurt did you get in that situation?
No one punch back. No one punch back.
No punching
No
back.
one. No one. If they punch or they kick you, they go right through it. You know?
Nobody hold back.
Nobody holds back. There was no hold back. They will give you a what do you call
Elbow hit.
headlock. If they give a headlock, they'll not let it go until you don't breathe anymore.
So it was for real.
And sometimes Mestre was now watching. Mestre was inside of the room, or sometimes talk, or sometimes after class you go downstairs for have a coffee, and then come back. Many times someone was bleeding, someone was knocked out, or I mean, it was really rough.
Really rough. And did everybody did it, or had people that didn't want to do it?
No, some people would not do it. Some people, I like it. Yeah, if even many times I got it hurt, but I like it. You know, alegria, like very. I have a tooth that doesn't belong to me. That was knocked out by alegria. And believe it. So many capoeiristas, and alegria was one of them. I used to train with him in mind. I said, I have to get him back. Yeah. But I actually never had a chance to.
Oh, that's the one that you still own it.
No, not just him is one of them. Moore was the other one. You know. And as soon as I went to Mestre Bimba, I remember I thought now I can play on the street fights, on the street hurdle. And Bahia at that time was a lot of street hurdles. Especially from December all the way to Carnival times, a lot of street hurdles.
Why? Because of the holidays?
The festivities that happen in Bahia, and was in Bahia, the festivity, everyone's looking forward for the festivities. Was a Festa da Conceição, Festa do Bonfim, was Festa Boa Viagem, Itapuã, Pituba. And there was one every week was in a different place. And that when you see the roda, that when you see all the capoeiristas train all year round to be part of those rodas. Beside the Sundays roda, we had the festivities roda on end of the year.
The end of the year.
Yes, like, at the end of the year.
So that whole period was like Christmas for capoeiristas.
Yes, pretty much. Well, Christmas time, we right after Christmas, New Year's, we spend on those street rodas many times, you know. But I met Ezequiel's roda class was exactly the way Mestre Bimba taught his class, even the batizado. I participated in many batizados of Mestre Ezequiel, and I had the privilege to see fewer of Mestre Bimba's batizado, also Mestre Bimba's roda on Sunday. And that's pretty much everything that I was learning from Mestre Ezequiel. You know, and the batizado, remember every time we have a batizado, I always tell people, don't touch no one. Don't take no one down. I don't know where people got this idea that batizado, you have to beat someone up.
It was not like that at Mestre Bimba, neither at Mestre Ezequiel.
No. If I had Mestre Bimba, you had your godfather. Your godfather is there to help you through your journey of capoeira. It's like when you baptize someone in church. It's not like you get the kid and drown him, he or she, in the water. It doesn't work like this, you know. And the name batizado, talking to Cisnando, was really suggesting from Mestre Bimba's student, you know. But in the whole graduation was really inspired, and a graduation of a university graduations.
Right.
You know.
And I was going to.
In class, nowhere wear uniforms. But at the batizado, Mestre Bimba used to sell a T-shirt and ask you to come with white pants and pretty much or black shoes, or you could be barefoot.
Interesting.
You
The
know,
shirt that he sold had like a logo, or what kind of shirt was?
yes, he used to have his logo right here on the chest, on the left side.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Interesting. And I was going to ask you, what was the lesson that Master Ezekiel taught you, or even the song as well, that you never forgot, that you carry with you up to today as an important lesson, or maybe more than one, but what were the most important lessons that he taught you?
Well, Mestre Ezequiel, I used to have the same feeling that I had with Mestre Bobo, my mother, I had with Mestre Ezequiel. Was a feeling of respect and scary, you know. But Mestre Ezequiel, the memory, I was really surprised that one day I was sick. I could go to work because I had to work. Otherwise, I was rough, you know. I had to go to work. And he sent someone. Diaboloro knew where I live, but also Fininho didn't live too far from me. And Mestre Ezequiel, since I hadn't been to class for a couple of weeks, and he sent Diaboloro to Fininho's house so Fininho could take me into my house because he wants to know if I mean, that really touched me. That really say, wow, he really cared. He really, that's how much he cared to his student. But when he gets mad, when he had to discipline, he was really hard. And Mestre Ezequiel, he would not, if he says something, he would not go back. You know, he was a man of one word. I had really some great memories of Mestre Ezequiel. And he always, his word, he taught me, I would say, how to be, because I grew up without a father. And my father, and the Mestre Bobo and him was really a father figure for myself. And since Mestre Bobo, when I was a kid, and Mestre Ezequiel, when I was really a teenager, that's when you really needs a man in your life to guide you. Guidance, and he was not just a capoeira master, and that he made sure a lot of his expression was very close to my mother. And I remember a man that he said, when a man that lies is when someone lies, that person is capable to do anything. You know, and it's funny that I remember that I caught him in a few lies.
Mestre Ezequiel?
Yeah, because I don't want to expose Mestre, but he was a lady man. You want to know, you know, and I don't want to go into that. But not in lies that hurt his character. And he used to always say, use capoeira to build your character.
Nice.
You know, capoeira, and he was really always emphasis on how important capoeira was in our lives. And but one of the things that touched me the most was the day he was really concerned why I didn't show up to class, and he was after he sent Diaboloro. Diaboloro knew where I lived, but he couldn't find. Then he had to go to Fininho, and both of them came to my house, and they want to know why I was not coming to class. I thought they was just coming hanging out. Say, no, Mestre Ezequiel sent us here.
Nice.
You know, was
so be caring. Be caring is one of the things that he taught you.
Yes, to care. You care. Also, he taught me something that I always tell my students: be honest. Because when you are honest with someone, it's right away, it's a trust. You know, if you want trust from somebody else, just be honest to that person. When you are honest, you gain trust. That was very much. And another thing, always always he said, when you go to Capoeira, make sure, I don't want to hear how many people hit it. I want to know how many friends you really have made. Mestre Ezequiel, another memory I have, Mestre Ezequiel was like a passport, a good passport, that you could go anywhere, you know.
Everybody
I went
liked
to many
him.
rodas, always said, I'm a student of Mestre Ezequiel. I couldn't play because I was too young. And a lot of those rodas, there was so many good capoeiristas there. If I say, well, I played Mestre Valdemar, I never played capoeira in Mestre Valdemar. The only Sunday rodas that I played capoeira was in Mão de Onça, Mestre Boca Rica, well, Mestre Bobó on Sundays. What the other roda went that I played capoeira? Mestre Vigílio, he never let me play, because I think he kind of didn't get along with Mestre Ezequiel. I don't know. He'll never let me play on Mestre Vigílio. But most of the roda I always went to watch. Always went to watch the rodas. But I learned. When you watch, you learn.
A lot.
You know. I see nowadays people in batizado, oh, I'm not going because I'm not going to support because I don't play. Even so, when you don't go play, you learn a lot more than just, we learn more observing than actually playing. I learned, when I came to this country, I was in capoeira for 11 years. Already was, yes, I was doing capoeira for 11 years, you know. And but in this 11 years that I spent in Brazil was a good 11 years because I played a lot, but I also observed a lot. I learned a lot observing. And Mestre Ezequiel was the type of master that he wants you to make new bridge, just the way I do with my students. I want you guys always to go link it up, make friends, you know. So your friends support you, so you continue to support your friends. It's really important. That capoeira is all about making friends. You know.
So how would you say that was your relationship with Messi? Was fatherly? Was you felt very cared? You already said. Was he rough too?
He was a father figure.
Yeah.
And same time he was a father figure, but I see him first as a mestre, then I see him as a father, I see him as a friend. Because he never said I'm the mestre here, but he had a posture and attitude that I knew he was a mestre. Ezequiel, you look at me, I understood what he's trying to say.
Yeah. So what was the difference back then? And I'm making a relation to what happened nowadays too, of having him as a master and having him as a friend. When the friend stops and the master starts, and vice versa, which I think is kind of hard sometimes.
It is. It is. You have to care for a student. Like I say, you have to be connected to a student. I don't see, I try not forcing. I'm not forcing. I'm not to apply. I'm not to impose my student the relationship I have with I had with Mestre Bobo, that I had with Mestre Ezequiel. You know, because it's so natural. And today, my relationship with you guys is very natural. And you all know I'm the master. I don't have to keep telling you I'm the master. I have seen people say, no, I can't be friends with my student because the students has a tendency to misunderstand that, to get confused. I don't have that worry. I know. First of all, for me, students are free to come and go anytime. But if you make a strong link with the student, respect he, she, and they give that back to you. Like I said, if you're honest with them, they will trust you, and that's a lasting relationship. I have so many students who's no longer doing capoeira, but we are very close friends. I have so many godchildren, and most of them are students, kids, who no longer does capoeira, but that we still very close. And everyone, we become as teacher, master, and student, and then we become friends. And that become, when friend and mess comes together, that relationship becomes very strong. Some of them, sometimes I caught students trying to lean more to a friend, but they can realize I'm both. I'm their friend, I'm their master. You know, I don't like to say I'm just your master, I'm not your friend now. I'm a friend, and for many of my students, I'm a father figure. You know, I'm a father figure for many of them. And my student is, it's all my kids in heart. And they're my family outside my family. Like I said, my masteries was always my father figure. Capoeira was always my second mother. I had a mother, a strong mother, but capoeira was like my mother. And capoeira, first thing I understood very well in capoeira was capoeira's community. It's coming. It's about coming together, working together. It's a teamwork. You know, I got that from capoeira in very early young age, because batizado was not like today. I see you, myself, and many of my students playing in batizado, where I'm going to get the money. There's no money for this. We have to get this. We didn't have that. First of all, we never was no money for it. Was the community was not like 2-3 days batizado, was 1 day. Messa, such day you're gonna have batizado, was no workshop. This idea of a 1 week or 2 days or 3 days is great. How you guys get a student, our student, or many other students from another group, get to meet other mastery, have an experience with another master. This is fantastic. I think if I had the experience that you guys have today, I would have been a much better capoeirista. But nowadays, capoeiristas, they're more athletes, they're more technical. Even the capoeira Angola, no one teaches capoeira like they used to teach before. I see Mestre Jelon Vieira teaching. Mestre Jelon Vieira has a sequence. And before, Mestre Passinho used to teach, the way Mestre Bobó, they all used to teach learning capoeira, playing capoeira. It was not even a warm-up. Mestre Bimbo was not even a warm-up. You come, you do something very quickly, then you go right into the sequence, or kicking over share. You know, and nowadays capoeira, and how we instruct this, how capoeira instructed, nowadays the relationship is longer. I could see myself, if I didn't leave Brazil, maybe probably, you know, my interest grew different from, I want more and more and more, and I never bothered Mestre Ezequiel. Mestre Ezequiel was always a friend, a mentor, and my mastery. And so was Mestre Bobó. Even I was not, because I can never say I'm Angoleiro. If anyone who plays capoeira, the capoeira we play, because what we play is an extension of capoeira regional. I don't like to call contemporary capoeira. What's contemporary? Contemporary is what's happening now. Then it's a new capoeira every day. No. What we play is an extension is capoeira regional, an extension of what Mestre Bimba create. And a lot more. And who start this? Grupo Senzala.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about them a little bit later. I want to ask you about how was the specialization course at Mestre Ezequiel's academy?
Mestre Ezequiel used the same system of Mestre yellow, was blue, well, so the same. He add more colors. And Mestre Ezequiel used to do not belts, sash. He used to use a sash.
Valeu, Mestre Batata.
Yeah. Mestre Ezequiel, he used to use a cord, a sash, as a rank. And when I came to United States, we lost contact, and I built my own system, massage system, not belt, sash. Just like Kung Fu wear sashes. I used to wear sash. And I was the first one. One day I was telling Mestre Boneco, I'm so glad I still have a picture of a short saying Capoeira Brazil. Brazil is a Z. I call Capoeira Brazil, the name of my academy. It was not group, academy, but also I was the first one to put a black sash on my waist, which Mestre Ezequiel gave me hours to remove that from my waist. You know, and I did, and it was black. My first batizado in 1978, I still have a picture. I should put that picture on the Instagram so everyone can see. With the Capoeira Brazil, you know, and a black sash. Like I said on the interview, I was the first one to call Benguela Benguela. It was not because I want to call Benguela. When I recorded my first LP, 1988, and 89, I brought the Mestre here to release the album.
Mestre Ezequiel.
Mestre Ezequiel, Mestre João Grande, Mestre João Pequeno, Mestre Bobó. And the guy, I can't remember, trying to remember his name. Someone asked me, I forgot the name. I forgot his name. Now I forgot the music. Em homenagem ao Bimba, em homenagem ao Bimba, toque una e Benguela. But the guy, when he sang and when he sent me the music, he said, em homenagem ao Bimba, toque una e Benguela. And I sang just the way he sang and he wrote it. And I gave the LP. Mestre Ezequiel was not in the LP. I gave to, he was the next one that I did. And the Mestre Ezequiel, when he heard that, I went to visit him.
1 year later? You went to visit him 1 year later, right?
Yes. And I gave him the LP. I said, oh, I got the LP. Thank you very much. I want you to listen and tell me what's wrong with it. And I listened to I could not, what do you call it?
Figure out
and see where the mistake was. And he kept saying, I said, well, it's great. Did you hear what you said? I said, no, Mestre. Then he said, well, did I teach you Benguela or Benguela? I said, Benguela. I never said Benguela. I said, yes, you did. And he played. And I said, em homenagem ao Bimba, toque una e Benguela. And he said, well, I said, well, I'm going to correct that. He said, not here. You're not going to correct that anymore. It's done and gone. You know, it's done and gone. Now, and later on, then all this those history, I mean, later on in the 90s, people start, not in the 90s, this millennium, I think, people start calling now is Benguela and Benguela. I know Benguela.
Yeah.
And that's what we play. That's what I learned from Mestre Bimba, from Mestre Ezequiel, you know.
And how was the specialization, excuse me, the specialization course itself? What do you guys do on that specialization course? Well,
Mestre Ezequiel, the higher is there was no cord, it was sash. The higher was your sash to get blue cord, blue sash. I had to have at least 2 to 3 emboscada.
Okay,
emboscada is a
ambush.
Yeah, you had to have to do ambush. You had to practice, and I remember very well. He used to bring this guy. No one knows his nickname. Do you know who is Pantera Negra?
No.
Pantera Negra is the greatest Valdemar Santana.
Oh, I heard about Valdemar Santana. Yeah, I know him. My dad used to talk about him.
Valdemar Santana was one of the greatest capoeiristas.
Luta livre.
Yeah, luta livre.
That's equivalent to Brazilian wrestling.
To fight with Grace.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mestre Ezequiel was a good friend of Valdemar Santana, and good friend. And Valdemar Santana sent a guy, I remember as today, was really big, strong, black guy, Afro-Brazilian guy. He used to come and teach us some grabbing technique so we can use on the bush. That was a month of training, about 2 or 3 times a week. And it was really rough. And Mestre Ezequiel used to say that Mestre Bimbas in bush was even harder. But Mestre Ezequiel's in bush, he was more playing with more psychology.
More with your mind.
Like, more with your mind. There's a lot of psychology in this.
Like
What he wants to know is if you're ready here.
Valeu,
Not
Varal.
just physical. Because sometimes you can be good fighter, but if you're not as smart, you can kill yourself.
Right.
Or get yourself into really big trouble.
Right.
You know, I remember very, very well, we went to a small town, and the Mestre Ezequiel, he was a police officer, and he knew everyone. And we stay in this little farm in the woods, and he said, well, go on, Fininho, myself, Diaboloro, I don't remember, I think it was Durinho. Go, I'll meet you guys somewhere else. I'll meet you guys under someplace. We walking, suddenly, 7 in the morning, there's 2 guys drunk walking toward us. You know, he's moving this way. Then we trying to avoid them. We move to this side, and the guys move this side. We move to this side, and the guys move this side. And I say, wait a minute. And suddenly, he bumped into Diaboloro, the crazy one. And Diaboloro wants to fight the guy. And the guy said, what are we going to do about it? And Diaboloro got all ready to hit the guy. The guy lift the shirt and take a big 38.
Whoa.
And everybody froze. You know, we say we're going to die. And someone trying to defend Diaboloro, and I hear the guy saying, oh, he must be your girlfriend.
Oh.
That because at that time, not even, I think it was Durinho. Durinho wants to, and Diaboloro get a say. Then the other guy pulled another gun, another 38.
Wow.
And we froze. When we froze, we're walking backwards, and the guy's walking toward us, and Mestre Ezequiel comes out from the bush. Laughing, and everybody started laughing. And we were so scared. We just froze, and we couldn't believe Mestre Ezequiel set all that up. Those 2 guys, they're not really drunk, they're acting drunk. And Mestre Ezequiel look and say, you know, you guys not ready. You could have got killed here.
Yep.
You have to use this. If they're drunk, you just move on.
Use your brain, yes.
Yeah, move on. Why you have to want to fight someone drunk? If that was a real, you would be dead meat. You know, that was a good lesson. And also he had another situation. Because sometimes he did like Mestre Bimba. Was the trouble? No. First of all, you and I, you'll be the good guys, and you'll be the trouble guys who we fight with. Then he had the police. The police was somebody else. I try to remember what's the name of that plant we call babosa, no babosa.
Hello?
It's well, it's hard. Doesn't hurt, but burns when they hit you.
Oh, I don't know the name of the plant.
Mamona. The name of it is mamona.
The leaf is really large and heavy, right?
The leaf but the branch of the leaf. It's really hard. And Mestre Ezequiel used to give to the police. and we had to fight the bad guys, and we had to run away without getting hit by the police. You know, but also as the ambush, we used to go to a place, say, walk right through here, and when you walk, was maybe you by yourself, was 2 or 3 other capoeiristas waiting for you, and they could not wait to get to you, and they really beat you up. But you have to remember, it was no ginga, it was no AU, it was nothing. It was just really come, martelo, punch,
the real deal.
you, throw on the floor. And many times, Mestre Ezequiel, afterwards, we always had a gather and we talk about it, say, how will you deal with the situation? If it's 3 guys, you're fighting, that's why you always have to be prepared. If you can't take 3 guys, especially 3 great fighters, run, go away. Don't stay. Don't try to be a hero or a Superman.
It doesn't work in real life, right?
Doesn't work in real life, yes.
Mestre, we are getting close to 2 hours. I think it's good for us to take a break today.
And we can come back next week.
Let's come back next Saturday at the same time?
Yes, same time, 8 p.m. If people are interested, I'll be here.
So let me just tell people what we still have to go through. Yeah, we're still going to talk about street rodas, great games that Mestre saw, tournaments, a few of those characters that Mestre talks a lot, Diabo Louro, Cisnando, women in Capoeira. We're going to talk about the evolution of the classes and the groups Mestre joined in, his experience outside of Brazil, choreography and dance, and how Capoeira Luanda started. And then to finish on next week, and we're going to talk about the future and how he sees Capoeira, yeah? So, para o pessoal do Brasil, a gente ainda tem muita coisa para falar, a gente vai interromper por hoje e vai voltar no próximo sábado, no mesmo horário, para terminar a entrevista falando sobre jogos memoráveis, evolução da capoeira, o Diabo Louro, Cisnando, e a experiência do mestre fora do Brasil com dança e coreografia, assim como a evolução das aulas e a fundação do Capoeira Luanda e o futuro da capoeira, tá bom? Então, sábado que vem a gente vai voltar de novo. Mestre Jelon, muito obrigado. Foi massa.
Obrigado.
Acho que a galera que assistiu adorou.
Thank you very much. Talking about, it's going to be really hard to talk about the future. We can't predict anything anymore.
I know.
This, you went to sleep in one world and you woke up in another world.
I know.
You know, I was supposed to be in Brazil. And this start closing more and more and more. Look where we are now. You know, I'm just really count the day, but I don't know how many days still to go, you know.
Yeah, I hope it's not that many, Mestre. I was thinking a lot the other day that I think capoeira can be many different things, but if there is one thing that it's in all aspects of capoeira, is resilience. It's the strength and its persistence. And I think we are made of that. So whatever happens in the future, we are going to make it because we are persistent. We are resilient as the African was to give all that to us.
Oh, I believe so too. Very, 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 very much.
So thank you very much one more time. Thank you everybody that participated.
And let's see if we can do next week so you can finalize.
Next Saturday, same time, Mestre.
With the list of, you organize it so well.
Thank you.
Know, if we keep doing this, talking about all your subjects, we'll be here until tomorrow.
I hope so.
And we'll be the only one talking. But it's lovely, guys. Have a good night. Todos vocês, muito, muito obrigado, mestres que estão aqui, contramestre, todos os alunos e amigos. Valeu pelo apoio. Fico muito grato, muito grato.
Thank you, mestre.
Okay,
obrigado.
Um abraço. Stay home, people.
Stay safe.
Em casa.
Good night, everybody.
Good
See you
night,
next
everyone.
week.
See you soon. See you next week.
Axé.